Hey, everybody. Welcome back into another edition of the drbicuspid.com podcast. My name is Kevin Henry. I'm the editor in chief for drbicuspid.com. This is a part of a series that we are doing with SprintRay. And with that, I am thrilled to welcome in John Cox with SprintRay. John, it's good to see you. How are you?
Yeah, you too, Kevin. It's been a long time, and obviously our history goes back many, many, many years. So I'm doing great. And my role at SprintRay, Chief Growth Officer, I've been with the company 6.5 years, and through that period, I've seen so much progression and change in how dentistry is being delivered, and it's just a great time in dentistry. So we'll be glad to be here on the podcast with you to share a little of that story.
That's great because, like I told you before we got on, I was not only excited to know I was going to be talking to you, knowing our history, but also about the subject because 3D printing is something that I think is really fascinating. And I think it's something that is still maybe a little bit unknown in our industry as well. And I kind of wanted to start with a real 30,000 foot view question. What are you seeing in terms of 3D printing adaptation and usage in dentistry right now?
Sure. I would say 3D printing is probably the most inquired about technology the dentists are asking about in the industry today. And if we go back as short as 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago, what was the interest level? It may have been 3 or 4 from a standpoint of technology, but in the last 2 years, it's been number one. So dentists saying it's the number one technology you're looking to adopt over the next 12 to 18 months. 3D printing is number one and has been for the last couple of years. So it's accelerated incredibly from a standpoint of, hey, I've got to have this. And then it becomes, hey, what do I have to have it for? And we've been working hard to close that knowledge gap. And we're obviously, as you know, we're very busy on social with education channels and really helping dentists understand why they want this technology, number one, what's it going to do for their practice, delivering care to their patients, and what are the applications they're going to use it for in their individual practice. Just an incredible adoption curve going on right now. And only 20% or so of the market has actually adopted it. And we track behind iOS scanner. So you need an iOS scanner for a printer to breathe. And obviously we've got a huge white space of opportunity in front of us.
So I guess I'll ask you the question that people are asking you. What is it being used for in dentistry right now? And maybe how also does it fit into the whole concept of a digital workflow?
Sure. 3D printing's been used for decades in the lab space, and they've been printing models and making appliances on top of those models for years. And that's where we started as a company. We're 11 years in. Started 11 years ago, SprintRay, and it was a Kickstarter campaign. It was a great story, and we don't have time to go through that today. But today, it's used for, obviously, dental models is always at the core, but night guards, retainers, dentures, flexible flexuals, surgical guides, any sort of restorative application, ultra-thin veneers, crowns, bridges, inlays, unlays, full arch implant, hybrid transitional long-term arches for all-on-4 type cases. Pretty much, I think 17, 18 different applications in dentistry. Last count, sport guards is a new one, and growing. So there's not too many things that we're not doing in the office chair side and or in a laboratory environment with our 3D printers today.
And what are you seeing in terms of the learning curve with this technology?
When SprintRay, when they started in the business, they realized, we want a lane to focus in, and they realized dentistry is a business that is individual to every tooth, every appliance that gets made specific to that patient. 3D printing, additive manufacturing fits that perfectly because it's, you send the design, it's a one-off, it prints it, presses it, it gets it to the patient. So it really was ideal for dentistry. And most of the competitors at the time were all focused on the lab space because the labs had adopted printing, they're using a lot of material. At SprintRay, we took a little different track. We thought, you know what, where it's going to benefit the patient the most is arm's length from the patient, to be as close to the patient so they can deliver that appliance in as short a time as possible, which obviously makes it more convenient, and give the dentist the ability to have a little more control and obviously lower cost to deliver care and enhance the patient experience. So we have focused on chairside, and as a result of focusing on chairside, we had to make sure that we developed an ecosystem that was frictionless. It's a term we started using probably 6, 7 years ago. Was we want to deliver a frictionless workflow for the dental office. So anyone in that practice, whether it be a dental hygienist, a dental assistant, a tertiary staff member, can run the system and get predictable, consistent quality results consistent basis so it doesn't slow the practice down, it enhances it. And as a result, we built an ecosystem that had hardware, software, and material science all embedded together in an integrated fashion that made the workflow easy for the end user to deploy and use every day.
I'm glad you mentioned the team because we know so often if they're not behind it, things don't get off the ground. And so, what have you found as far as the team, maybe excitement level, interest level in this kind of technology?
Sure. And you and I have been in this industry a long time, and we've seen so many technologies come, and some have stayed and some of them gone. And a big part of it is how easy it is to adopt into the practice. How easy is it for the team members to utilize where it's giving them something. In other words, it's giving them back time, not taking time from them. So we went through some pains in the early days where it wasn't as easy as it needed to be. So we worked hard and to a point today where it's super easy. What's it mean to a team member? I'll give you an example. Let's take a denture patient where maybe they don't have a good denture or they don't have any denture for that matter, and they feel debilitated. And that team member in the practice gets to make that denture and they get to observe that patient when that denture is delivered. And that you can imagine that patient, the smile, a lot of times it's full of emotion. The patient might cry and they get so excited about their new smile and it's given them a bit of a life back, obviously. And that team member, that whether it be a dental assistant, whoever made it, they get to witness that. And it's as close as they get to obviously delivering that care like the dentist gets to experience all the time. And I can tell you the level of purpose, engagement, connection, satisfaction that that team member gets is phenomenal. And then that next one, they get that much more excited and it becomes part of the process within the practice. And anytime you can create something to deliver to a patient that improves their aesthetics, their function, ability to choose to whatever it is, if you can make that and deliver it and the patient's so excited about it, it gives that team member so much purpose and they just love doing it. So it's one of the things that it's a technology that becomes very sticky with the person that's using it because they get so excited about obviously the patient joy they deliver whenever they give an appliance.
You're speaking my language whenever you talk about that, the assistant getting excited and wanting to do more. So it's fantastic to hear. I want to go back to a point that you made earlier that I think is really important because for so long in dentistry, we've talked about same day dentistry and how important that concept is. And I think so often we think about CAD CAM whenever we think about that. But maybe it's time that we start shifting our mindset a little bit to include 3D printing in that as well, correct?
100%. And you think, I mean, a lot of our customer base, our good percentage are CAD CAM owners. They they saw the benefit of delivering, same visit care, not only from a patient convenience and patient satisfaction, which probably today is more patient demand. If I'm patients just don't have time. None of us have enough time. And if you can get something in one visit versus two, it's obviously sought after. So those dentists really understood the value and there's no different when you're delivering a night guard. A night guard's a good example, where now many of our customers, they'll deliver the night guard at the time of a hygiene appointment. So when a hygienist has a patient in for the normal hygiene, they take a scan. So oftentimes they have the scan, and there's no change. They just produce the night guard, but they'll take a scan, send it to the cloud. AI designs it in 1 to 2 minutes. It goes directly to the printer. It prints it another 15, 16 minutes and then post-process. And that night guard's ready for that patient before they leave the hygiene, but they take it up a notch. And you think in terms of how does dentistry start to deliver, a little more wow experience, a little more consumerism, which I personally believe is very needed. The dentist print too, because it's an extra $5, $6 in material cost. And then when that dentist comes in to do the hygiene check, they also do the night guard check. They put the night guard in, everything's fine, gives it to the patient, and let them know. And maybe it's a $500 fee, but we want to slow down the wear of your teeth. And I think it's 85% of the adult population has tooth wear, so a night guard's probably a pretty good thing. And then when they finish, they put the check in. Then they say, "But today I'm going to give you a second one. I'm not going to charge you for it." So in that simple statement, I'm going to give you a second one, $500 night guard. I'm not going to charge you for it. All of a sudden, that patient sees value. They see, well, my dentist, there's such a nice dentist. I got to tell the world, I love coming here. It's really only half the price, and they're really concerned about protecting my teeth. There's a lot of value there. That's one example of a moment that you can do that otherwise, if you're sending it out outside to get done, centralized production in a laboratory, number one, the patient's got to come back for a second visit.
Mm.
You got to prep the room, which is, I think ADA average $25 cost. Patient's got to come back. It's an unpaid visit because you've already probably billed them on the night guard. Or, anyways, the efficiency in that is just through the roof. It's about a 70 to 80% improvement in productivity doing it single visit versus second. And that's a great example of leveraging the technology to deliver patient patient experience enhanced, much more productivity for the practice, see more patients. You fill that 30-minute fitment appointment with something else. So it's just, these are the things that dentists are realizing the benefits of using the technology to do more in a single visit versus, rescheduling and bringing back.
And John, I'm sure one of the big questions that you always get is about the ROI and in what am I going to get back by investing in this technology? And you touched on a little bit of it right there, but I'm curious, what are some of the other things that maybe dentists aren't aware of whenever they're thinking about investing into 3D printing?
Sure. And again, depending on the application, the ROI happens so quickly. In practices that adopt our 3D printing pay for the whole investment in 3, 4, 5, 6 months, depending on the volume of usage. But the night guard, I'll stay on the same example because we're using it. If you send it out to a lab, the lab's average fee is probably, I'll say, $150 to $200, depending on the lab for a night guard. You can produce that internally at a cost of, say, $30 on average. So you're saving $170. If you're doing 5 night guards a month, that's, what's that, $850 savings, much more than what the cost of the system would be on a traditional 36 months lease. So you're actually putting money in your pocket, but you're able to deliver it in a single visit. So that's the money in the pocket just on the cost of what you're delivering pays for it many times over. But the big win is in that time you get back in the second visit, because obviously chair time is, a premium, and the average practice generating probably $600 to $1,000 an hour in revenue. That 30 minutes is probably worth another $500 of productivity if you can fill it with something else. That's the big story. The idea that, and that's when, obviously CAD/CAM realized single visit care is way more than just, the crown we're delivering. And we're doing the same thing with restorative now with our new Midas solution. It's offering that same kind of economic return for a practice. But I could give you, a denture ROI. I could give you a retainer ROI. I could give you a single crown. Inlay onlay is an amazing one. That just the ROI is not in question. It happens relatively fast and gives the dentist back time.
Well, all those various ROIs that we may not be able to get to on the podcast, I know SprintRay has some resources, I'm sure, that can help the dentist realize that. And so, where's a good place for a dentist, team member, whoever it is that's interested in 3D printing to learn more?
Yeah, the website. We get a robust website. There's ROI calculators on every application. There's a ton of education, short YouTube style videos where they can see different applications, how the workflow looks, what the opportunities are, obviously the product portfolio and all the different types of materials we sell that are used in dentistry. So it's, www.sprintray.com is probably the best source of all the information. And there's certainly reach out, get demos, an in-office demo, connect with one of our sales team, and they can obviously get the information that anyone would be looking for.
Well, if you're watching this on Dr. Bicuspid, it's in the article, the link to SprintRay. And if you're listening to this or watching this on one of our podcast platforms, well, it's in the show notes. So very easy for you to find. So, John, great to catch up with you. Enjoyed the chat. And thanks so much for the look into 3D printing today.
Awesome. Great to see you again, Kevin. Thanks for the opportunity, and enjoy the rest of your day as well.
Same to you, my friend. And thanks to all of you for listening to this episode of the drbicuspid.com podcast. This episode brought to you by SprintRay. And again, learn more at sprintray.com. We'll have the link in the show notes for you to find. Till next time, it's Kevin Henry, editor-in-chief for Dr. Bicuspid, signing off. And as always, wishing you nothing but success ahead.